These are 5 techniques I use to learn to speak languages fast. The techniques are language islands, mnemonic associations, speed reading, shadowing, and active recall. And I'm going to show you why I use all of them in combination, and I'm going to tell you how you too can use them. Why I use them all? It's because each one has its strengths and weaknesses. It's good for each one of them is good for one specific thing. And in order to have well-rounded skills in the language, you need to work on everything. So you need to learn you need to learn using a combination of effective methods. All right. If you just learn vocab, you'll get good at vocab, but not at something else. If you just learn by talking to people, then you'll get good at not really good, but you'll get decent at just small talk, and that's it. You need to work on a variety of things. You need a variety of techniques, right? So let's start with language islands. These are language islands. Language islands are group. Each language island is a group of sentences that you memorize. Well, that you first write and translate, and then learn for a specific situation or for a specific topic. See, basics: introducing myself, like, hello, what's your name? Nice to meet you. I'm from this place, blah, blah, blah. Oh, are you Turkish? I'm learning Turkish. You know, the first minute of the conversation. Then I've got more stuff like work, interests, things like that. I've got thousands of sentences here. Everything is stuff that I've written. Do not use AI for this. A lot of people keep asking me about how to use AI for this. Don't use AI for language islands. It's a waste of time because you need to learn your own sentences. AI doesn't speak the way you speak. Doesn't have the same experiences, the same interests. It's not you. You need to use your personal sentences for this. Learning your own lines translated is much more effective than learning random sentences, right? So please take your time, think of different conversation topics, situations, who you normally talk to, what do you normally talk about, and write everything you want to say, right? But it needs to be your own words. Don't be lazy. Then you translate it into the target language, and you add lots of sentences. Then you create audio files for it. Use text to speech, and you create audio files for the target language. And those are language islands, right? That's phase one. Technique number one. Technique number two, mnemonic associations. This is the fastest way to memorize vocabulary or words or anything really. It's a memorization technique. Basically, you take the target language word and you create an association. Well, you visualize the word, something like that looks like the word, and you create an association with the meaning. I've got lots of tutorials on how to do this, so go watch them. I explain it in detail there. But you need to master this technique. It will help you memorize vocab very fast. And if you know a lot of vocab, it'll be much easier to understand sentences, to understand the language in general, and also to then use those sentences. Right? So vocab is very important. Once you've got your language islands, start memorizing the vocab from your language islands using mnemonic associations. Number three is speed reading. And I also have tutorials on how to do this. And the main advantage of speed reading is that it allows you to review a lot of text very quickly. So if you've got important sentences that you want to learn, being able to read them very fast is going to be really useful. If you read extremely fast, if you read a new book, extremely fast at your maximum speed, you will probably not remember much, unless you have really good retention as well. And that's a topic for another video. You can also work on that. But um, if you speed read a text that you've already seen, that you've written yourself, that you've been doing other exercises with, uh, obviously you know what the text says, so you can review it very quickly, and those reviews still count, and they're good. You can read. Okay, let me just show you. I'm gonna read the first like 20 lines. You can go this fast. I got it all the way here. Um, you can go that fast and remember the information as long as you've also been, again, like I said, create audio files, listen to the lines. So this is an extra way to get a lot of reviewing. You can review the whole list daily very quickly. I just did 20 in what 23 in like half a like less than a minute. So yeah, speed reading really good for reviewing. Memorize with mnemonics first and then speed read for reviewing. Then the shadowing. Shadowing is much slower, actually really slow if you do it the way I do it, but it's a great way to get you to speak. Shadowing basically means listening and repeating at the same time. So you, with this in front of you, you listen to the audio files you created, and if you're able to speed read, you'll be able to listen and repeat at the same time while also reading this because you can just jump back and forth. So you get the meaning and you listen and repeat at the same time and fast. So like you hear it and you say it alongside it and you do it with the whole thing as many times as necessary. You have to. You need tens of thousands of reps of repeating sentences aloud. It's around 1,000 lines per sentences per hour you can repeat like this. It really depends on how long the sentences are, but yeah, you can go very fast. Just play it, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging, but you will very quickly develop comprehension and also muscle memory because you're constantly forcing yourself to repeat stuff aloud. Your comprehension will improve, but because you're forcing yourself to understand, right? And it's fast paced. Everything that's fast paced is better. Like you learn if you are training fast, then the actual conversation will be much easier because they'll be much slower compared to what you've been doing. That's why reading fast, shadowing sentences like one after another, fast paced, it's better, and it'll be much easier for you to understand the language, like normal speed language. It'll be much easier for you to form sentences, think fast enough in the language, right? So shadowing, that's exercise number 4. And exercise number 5, uh, speaking of thinking in the language, this is by far the most difficult one, but also extremely effective to get you to speak in the language. It helps you think in the language and helps you speak more fluently and with fewer mistakes. And this is active recall. Basically, and this is by far the most difficult exercise. So you should do this after memorizing the vocab with associations, after reviewing it with speed reading several times, many times, and after shadowing it also many times, so that you're familiar with what you are doing the active recall exercise with. Otherwise, it's going to be way too difficult. And basically, what you need to do is read the sentences in the base language, English in this case, and you try to say them in the target language without looking. Good night, then. Okay, got it right. If you got it wrong, then you repeat it aloud correctly. You say it aloud. İyi akşamlar. Adın ne? Benim adım Mikael. Tanıştığıma memnun oldum. Merhaba. Nerelisin? Okay. It's still early for me to do this with Turkish, but you get the idea. This exercise will help you think in the language. And then because you say them aloud, and you should say them aloud while you're doing it, you gain fluency as well. Basically, speaking a language fluently involves thinking of the sentences fast enough and then being able to say them fast enough. It doesn't mean that you have to speak fast, but you have to think fast and then be able to say it like fast enough so that you can follow a conversation. If you're like the people are talking and they are talking to you and you're like uh, uh, I this is a very Spanish thing. Yes, the very and you're like, no, you can't have a conversation like that because they'll just move on. You need to, and I tend to speak faster in video normally because I don't have anyone speaking to me. I need to fill the air with words. I should probably work on speaking more slowly, more deliberately. But I do speak much slower in real life when I'm in conversation. But for some reason on video, I just tend to speak faster. But yeah, think faster at least, and then do not hesitate. Like, you don't need to overthink it. And you need sentences have to be fluid, like not really intermittent with lots of gaps between words. Uh, I am from the yeah. You don't want to do that. So this exercise is great for that because it helps you. Like, how do I say this? And I just say the whole thing. If you mess it up, you can try again tomorrow, and you keep translating aloud and then checking the answers. Those are the five exercises, right? Language islands, really important. Learn your own sentences, memorize the vocab with mnemonic associations, review it over and over again with speed reading, repeat them aloud over and over, shadowing, and finally, the fifth one, active recall until you're able to remember the sentences when you need to say them and to think in complete sentences and use them in conversation, right? Try these five exercises. I guarantee that you'll be able to have decent conversations in a matter of weeks if you do all of this correctly.